to approve the minutes is presented. Motion was seconded by Commissioner Rosso. Call the question?
Commissioner Belt?
Aye.
Commissioner Rosso?
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd?
Aye.
Commissioner Pope?
Aye.
Tonight, the chair will be voting. In the event of the tie, Commissioner Pierce will vote to break that tie. The motion passed and the vote was unanimous. Okay. At this time, we will open this up for public comment. The Montezuma County Planning Commission welcomes you to this meeting. People who choose to speak during the allotted time for public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Depending on the number of people wanting to speak, this time may be reduced to allow everyone a chance to address the commission. Please provide your name and address prior to any comments. Except as otherwise provided by law, no action or discussion shall be taken on or conducted on items not appearing on the agenda. Okay. Let me remind everybody that any public comment will not be pertaining to any of the things on the agenda tonight. This will be completely separate from that.
Good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
Heidi Bruger. I live at 340 East Montezuma Avenue here in Cortez. I wanted to just voice my support for the solar project that Empire Electric Association has planned for the Taunton Lake area. I think it's really important for a rural area like ours to be able to demonstrate that it's moving into the 21st century and it's abandoning a dying energy paradigm. Projects like these projects that EEA is planning, I think provide a really positive social image of our area. It's something that can attract people and business to this region. And it really reflects well on our region, its people, and our energy cooperative. EEA really, I think, took the abutters' desire for an aesthetic solution in mind. There are solar panels that are really obstructional, that they go up and they tilt and everything, and the panels that EEA has planned are low-lying flat panels, so they won't really obstruct a view of the mountains. It'll reduce the amount of energy that can be generated, and that means less revenue for the co-op members, but I think it's a neighborly way to approach the situation. And that's part of it. The energy produced by these solar projects won't feed back into the tri-state power line, and it will reduce the energy that we have to take from tri-state. So it's not only going to generate electricity, but it's going to generate revenue for our co-op. So it's something that benefits everybody in our co-op region. And it means that we'll be offsetting what is now about 25% green energy with 100% green energy. So it's a real good move for Montezuma County, I think. And that's it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nobody else for public comment? Going once, twice, 3 times? Okay, I will go ahead and close public comment. Can we have roll call?
Commissioner Belt?
Here.
Commissioner Rosso?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here.
Commissioner Pope?
Here.
And alternate Pierce?
Okay. You're hiding there. Okay, this is a public meeting for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a high-impact permit application and special use application submitted by Verizon Wireless, Agent Jeffrey Scherer, for the purpose of the construction and operation of a cell tower at 27324 Road P, Dolores, Colorado, located east of Highway 145, south of Road P, situated in Section 6, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is not a public hearing. However, public comment will be heard to consider in the Planning Commission's formulation of recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners. Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes.
Okay. Any findings?
Yes, if I can ask Mr. Scherer to come up, that would be great. The area that the proposed tower is in is, largely agricultural residential. Of course, there's no water involved in this. There will be a tower constructed, and a small equipment shelter that, you can come on up here, Jeff. On the property. We did have, one letter that was submitted by a neighbor, which I will pass around for you guys to read. From the Stories that says that they are writing in response to the proposed high-impact permit for Verizon Wireless Tower between roads N and P. The land is currently agricultural and residential and fairly densely populated. The tower in this location is certainly not ideal. As the narrative states, there are better locations that are ideal, and that they understand that that finding an appropriate spot may be difficult for Verizon, but the permit should not be granted in the proposed location. What concerns them even more is that the proposed tower is that in the future impact that it will have. As the applicant states in their narrative, when looking for a location, a desirable spot is often near an existing tower from another carrier, and they can foresee other applications on adjoining parcels if this one is approved. So they are opposing that. We did send out agency notice. We did not receive any opposition from any agencies. With a tower like this, there's not a whole lot that you can say as far as they don't need water and a lot of the utilities that other developments need.
Right,
So.
once the construction's done, it's,
Right. Very minimal. I mean, once during the construction phase of the project, there might be, they may exceed the traffic threshold standard. They're definitely going to exceed the height threshold standard. But once construction is complete, maybe once a month, they'll have someone come out and look at the site and just make sure everything's okay.
What do you think will be the construction time, the length of time,
I think it'd be 30 to 60 days, no more than that.
30 to 60 days?
Yeah. I think normally it's about 45 days.
is that all you had, Leanne?
Yeah, the only other thing that I might want to add is that I spoke with Mr. Scherer before the meeting tonight with the county's efforts in doing a fiber to the home project, getting high-speed internet to everyone. I did speak with him about the availability of co-locating county facilities on that to accommodate that goal, and that they're of course willing to look into that as well.
I'm an agent for Verizon Wireless. I can't speak for Verizon Wireless, but they've done things like that in the past.
Okay.
We would lease the space.
Right. Anything that we missed in that?
No. I think one of the important things is the fact that we're set back pretty far from people's homes and also from the right-of-way. We're 1,000 feet from the property to the south.
Let me move this forward for you so you can speak in here.
We're 800 feet to the south, and we're 1,200 feet to the right-of-way, and 123 to the south, to the east, and 119 to the west. So we sit pretty far. We sit, in a pretty removed spot on the property, and we have some large cottonwoods there as well. And it's a pretty good location. It really, I don't know if you went out there and took a look at it, but it's not visually impacting at all.
Just gonna back away. Do you know the distance to the nearest residence from that?
I'm looking at this. It looks like there's a neighbor to the south, and I would say based on the aerial, I'd say it's about 900 feet.
900 feet?
Yeah, because it's 839 feet to the property line, and it looks like that. And those people are here tonight. That's the house on the far left there.
This would be.
Yeah. That'd be you.
So here's Road P up here. it would be constructed down here. Yeah. The nearest residence would be the Garens that are here.
The house.
And what is the elevation change, would you think, between that location and that residence? Is it uphill from there, downhill from that?
I'd say it's relatively flat. It's a low area, you know.
It's uphill.
The site would
The
be
site
uphill from there.
is slightly
Where the
uphill.
tower location is supposedly gonna be,
There's a low area adjacent to the tower.
we would see it.
And I may have missed it in there, did it give a term for the lease on the property? Did you purchase the property?
No, we're leasing the property from the property owner. We're leasing the parcel from the property owner.
What was the term on that? Was it 25 years?
Yeah, it is. It's 5 with 4 renewables, so it'll be 25 years.
25 years primary lease?
Yep.
Okay, and then in the lifetime, let's say you shut the tower down one day and you're not using it, is there a plan to remove it? or-
Yes, it's in the agreement. It says that we'll remove it and put it back to, basically to the landlord doesn't want the tower.
Right.
Yeah.
And then fencing, you would have a.
There'll be a fence around the,
Fence around there.
yeah, around 1,000, yeah. The lease area is about 1,000 square feet.
Well, and a lot of times when other carriers co-locate, you know, they also construct their equipment shelters as well. So that's a potential in the future.
Yeah, Verizon's building the site basically for their use, but co-location, you know, is possible, but they'll have to come, whoever that carrier is, they'll have to come back and lease additional ground space from the landlord and also come back to this board for approval, because they're gonna have to they'll probably wanna raise the height of the tower.
Now, can you give me an example of another tower like this? Is there one up by Dolores?
Yeah, the one by Dolores is about 190 feet, so this is about a third. Yeah, there's 2 towers up there by Dolores, where the turnoff is there, and those are both about 190 feet. One's a guide tower, and the other one is they're both guide towers. Yeah,
So this would be a single post tower?
yeah, it'll be a lattice tower. Yeah, it doesn't have bad wires.
So can you think of a location that, right off the top of your head, where there would be one to?
A 50-foot one in this vicinity. Well, you know, there's one outside of Dolores as you head up towards, you know, to the area where is that road? I'm not
That
familiar.
goes up the side of the hill?
Yeah, there's a tower there, and I think that's about 50 feet in size too, but I'm not exactly sure. That sits against that bluff there.
Okay, any further discussion from the board before I open it up for public comment?
I will say one thing, that there is, thinking about it, there's a tower outside of Saguache, and it's a ways away, but that's about the same height as this as well.
That's northern, north.
It's up at the north end of the big valley, you know.
Phil, anything?
In reference to this letter,
Yep.
it referenced some other places that were better.
I wouldn't say better, I'd say, yeah, I see what they said.
I kind of see it referenced in your narrative, but what's
We,
the deal there?
well, before, when we initially came out, we went and visited, looking on an area, we went and visited the nursery, and we talked with those people, and it just didn't work out. So then I spread, you know, I started, you know, contacting people in this area here, and I think I contacted seven property owners, and 5 responded, you know, they were interested. And we went out to Mr. Jones's property, and we got out there, and we started walking around and realized that this is a really good location. I mean, it's set pretty far back off the road, and it works just fine for us.
So it's really not a technical difference.
In other words, you're not gonna get better coverage somewhere else, so you,
No, no, and in fact, when I came out, I had a different engineer, and they said that it would work better from this site than it would from the greenhouse. Yeah, yeah, and you know what else they mentioned in that letter? They said that the proliferation of towers. First off, if somebody's interested, they can co-locate on this tower. They just have to come back to this board, and get approval. So I don't know about additional towers, I mean, you'd have to have justification for not co-locating on a tower.
so they just lease space on your tower.
Yeah, and from the landowner.
Okay, I was just curious if there was a technical difference that was.
No,
That's the only question I
Anything else? Okay. We'll go ahead and open this up for public comment.
My name is Lou Guerin. My wife and I own the property directly adjacent to that. Oh, this is a command module here?
Yes.
What is it?
Touch it,
What's gonna happen here? Am I gonna move the picture or what? Okay, I don't know how to work that. My only concern is the visual impact. And also there's arbitrary discussions as far as radio waves. It's been proven to some extent that radio waves are detrimental to animals and humans. And we have federal standards that are in place, and supposedly these are more stringent than local, although when the federal government gets involved, not too many people believe what they say anyways. They're the same people who told us Agent Orange was good for us. So our visual impact is our primary concern, and what's the detrimental effect as far as property value goes. People walk in, and if I do want to sell that, I'm 75. I mean, this tower is going to be there long after I'm gone. So when they walk in, they go, well, I don't like that. That's my concern. And the fact that it is probably from our location, maybe 100 feet higher. So I'm going to be looking at a tower that's approximately 150 feet high from my point of view. Anybody want to, is that it or what? Okay, I'm done. Bring on the next guy.
Thank you, sir.
He'll address your concerns after everyone's made their public comment.
What's that?
Mr. Shearer can address your concerns after all the public comments.
Okay, what is this thing?
It's a speaker, it's just a microphone, so that everyone can hear you.
Testing.
It really does work, check it out.
Okay.
Okay, who's next? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. And I'll go ahead and bring it back to the commission for final discussion. Leanne?
Leanne, is the height limit without going through planning and zoning, it's 30 feet, right?
35
or less.
35 or less. 30, so,
Which, I've explained, we've had quite a few people, out in the community that are constructing their own
ham radio
towers or, whatnot to try and, increase their internet speed or to, acquire, better signals. There's been quite a few people that have been doing that and going under the 35 feet.
And yours is, Mr. Shearer, yours is right at 35 feet, right? Did I read
No,
that? It's 58?
Well, it's 54 feet, but it's got a 4-foot lightning rod on it. It's, yeah.
Okay, it was the threshold I was reading.
Right now it is, it's like what Leon was talking about before, it could be for internet access for county or something. That's something that, would have to happen the future, but right now it's for phone service, phone and data, I should say, because now it's become more data than phone.
So if emergency services or the county or another, service provider wanted to co-locate on that particular location, they would not only have to negotiate with Verizon, they would also have to negotiate with the property owner as well to co-locate it.
As well as.
Yep.
Depending, and that's contingent on what they're proposing. Because what kicks in an amendment of a high impact permit, if approved, is a 10% expansion. So if you know, and that's, you know, on the ground building footprint, if they expand more than 10%, then that would kick in a whole revamping of the high impact permit. If they're below that 10%, then basically what we do is we present it to the Board of County Commissioners. They review it, they look at it, the planning department submits their findings and what we recommend, and they make their final decision.
I'm good. Anything else to address on this?
I don't know, did you want to address any of Mr. Garen's concerns?
Sure. I'm not going to address the health concerns. That's something that that's something I can't address. Yeah. In terms of real estate values, number one, the tower is 54 feet. Number two, it's going to provide service to anybody that would be looking to buy his house, and this day and age, everybody wants cell service, and this would improve cell and data significantly if it was in that area. So I'd think that it would actually increase the value rather than decrease it in terms of real estate value.
Visual impact is fairly minimal. We're looking at.
It's not 150 feet. It's, looking at the aerial, not the aerial, but the contour map that's in the survey. The towers excuse me, I gotta put my glasses on, I can't read this thing. The tower's at 6427, and the low spot here is 6420. And if I remember correctly, it drops down, and there's a wet area that's, wetlands area that's to the south between his property and Mr. Jones' property. So I don't see it as being a 100 feet difference in elevation, but I don't know that for a fact.
Well, that's everything trying to do.
I think that's.
Well,
I would like to comment on the gentleman talking about his age. And you probably don't care about good cell service. I'm 81 and I don't either. So, yeah, you. Are you talking to me? Well, the gentleman said that,
I can't hear very good.
Yes, sir.
everybody wants good cell service. I don't care.
I don't either. I don't have a cell phone.
See, I don't either.
But Stan, you're a realtor. Do you find yourself
No.
talking to people when they're purchasing property that are concerned about what kind of services?
It's very irritating to try to get a hold of him.
Okay. Never mind. I retract my question.
I've survived for 46 years without one, so.
Okay.
We have a flip phone, and we get service anywhere in the county. My wife did. I don't know. So we don't have any problem with telephone reception as is now. I don't know if
entertain a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the high impact permit for this tower with no contingencies on it.
I did change it.
Do I need to say conditions instead of contingencies? I can't see any contingencies that I need, that I see.
Yeah, they already have, they've already provided us with, their contracted people that do all of that, so. And with the property as it is, you know, it's pretty irrigated and there's not any fire mitigation concerns, and if they step out of line, Bonnie will get right on them.
She already has.
Okay. I have a motion with no contingencies. Do I hear a second?
A second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pope to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve with no contingencies or conditions to the motion. And I have a second by Commissioner Rosso. Further discussion? No further discussion. You call the question?
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Rosso? Commissioner Boyd?
Aye.
Commissioner Pope?
Aye.
Okay.
No time.
Vote was unanimous. The motion passed. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next week.
County commissioners will be,
Yeah, we'll probably do that,
Excuse me.
looking at this, if I could do public notices tomorrow. Yes. So put Tuesday, somewhere, so we're looking at the 28th.
okay, and that,
That's at the earliest, either the 28th or the 11th. Do you have a preference?
no, I'm doing a lot of traveling. I don't,
Do you wanna let me know?
I'll let you know.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
sounds
Thank you.
great, thanks,
Appreciate
Tom.
it.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Back to Gosa. Thank you.
You guys need anything to drink? Anybody else?
Yes. Commissioner Bell? Commissioner Rosso? Here. Commissioner Boyd? Commissioner Pope?
Here.
Commissioner Pierce?
You upgraded.
All right, this is a public hearing for review and determination of a pre-sketch plan for proposed two-lot moderate development creating two 3.5 acre more or less tracts of land on property owned by Kenneth and Patricia Voita.
Very
Correct?
correct.
Huh?
Holy cow. You pronounced it exactly correct.
Did I butcher that one too?
No, no. I don't know how
There's
you
a
did
word
it.
for everything, so
I don't know how you did it.
I don't either. At 12502 Road 38, Mancos, Colorado, located east of Highway 184, south of Road 38, situated in Section 12, Township 36 North, Range 14 West, New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was a public notice published?
Yes.
Was evidence of letters to adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, was it signed?
Yes.
And you brought it back?
I brought it back.
All right. Then you don't have to
You'll charge me.
do more than that.
I bet.
I wanna know what that is.
Can I have a seat?
Yes, sir, please. All right.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Renette will have to
We're in
say.
that.
Agencies were notified on August 3rd, 2017. We have not received comment from anyone. Proof of ownership and statement of taxes have been provided and are in file. Adjacent land use is primarily agricultural and residential and zoned AR 3 to 9, AR 10 to 34, AR 35 plus, and A 80 plus. The applicants are basically proposing, like you said, to create a two-lot subdivision consisting of two 3.5 acre more or less tracts. There are currently 2 houses on the property, so after this split, if it goes through, there will be 1 residence on each parcel. They are also proposing to relocate an easement that these property owners use for their access. So that is also in here. County Road 38 is a red sign road, so they do not need a new driveway permit to do that. They just need to get the paperwork to relocate the easement done. As far as utilities, Empire Electric, we did get an email.
You did, I thought so.
We did, yes. And they will provide service to both of the residences, as long as the property owner will agree to, an easement. they said.
Well, there's a
So-
couple of ways to get power.
Okay,
So, I mean, until I do the survey and everything, I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go. I've got 200 amps going to the residents on the left of the property.
you wanna use this?
Oh, okay. I've got 200 amps going right there. Okay? There's a 100 amp panel in that place. So what I did, because I've owned this property for 5 years, I just drew 100 amps off of there to here. Okay? Now, what Empire is telling me that they can do one of 2 things. They can put a double meter here. Okay? But once, that way I don't have to retrench. Once I do that, then this meter, this house's meter will be there. So I need an easement from here to here. Okay, in case something happens to my meter and the owner says, no, I don't want you on my property, but there's an easement. Now, the other option is right here, they've got a transformer. This neighbor's power comes in this way. My other option is to come off his transformer to here, and then I can get 200 amps. A couple of options. It just, a lot of it's the cost. I mean, this one is, I looked at this 5 years ago, and it was 12 grand 5 years ago. So, I don't know. This isn't much, because it's already trenched and in. So that's the story with the electric.
Anything further?
We have propane for both of the residences. Both residences have permitted septic systems through the county, permit numbers 1451 and 5261. The rural water is also a bit of a story, which I will let Mr. Voighter explain to you as well. It existed before he purchased
All the
property.
taps are right here. The tap for his house, the tap for this one, and the tap for this one. Okay, that's where all the taps are, right there. This place, when I bought it, had water. There's no tap. So somewhere from this tap to here, the previous owner tied a line in to here. So I have to find that, put a new tap in here for here. Okay? But I talked to Montezuma and Steve over there, and he says, yeah, we can do it. And then I'm going to have to find this line somehow and break it. But it's not, that's probably the worst of my problems. But I can get it. I can get water there.
So the neighbor to the south, their water line is gonna run across your property?
You know, I don't even know where their water, their water goes, everything they got goes, except their electric, because that comes from back here. That used to be, what was it, some 30-acre parcel. They divided it this way.
So there's no recorded easements for those utilities?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure there
It's a
is.
utility easement also, not just ingress and egress.
No, pardon?
It's also a utility easement to the neighbors to the south, their easement comes.
There's gotta be. There's gotta be, because the water runs that way, not the electric, but the water. And there is an easement for that road. See, he comes out of here and he takes this road all the way out. What I'm planning is take that road and put it here. So he has his own, he's ruining my road. He brought a bunch of stuff up, and by doing this, it cost me $1,200 this year to put a culvert in and gravel, and so all I'm trying to do is give him his own road.
So you would put that in at your expense?
Yes, I will put that in at my
Are you
expense.
gonna deed that? Is that gonna be a deeded access or just?
No, it'll be deeded, it'll be easement. Right now, this property, well, right now, this is an easement. It doesn't say where it is, but he just says I have an easement to allow him access in and out of his property. So all I'm gonna do is just give him a straight access. I don't see how that is gonna affect him. I'm not asking him to pay for it. So I would just tie in, I mean, if that's where the property division's gonna be, I haven't surveyed it yet, so then his driveway will go straight out to 38, right that way. And I'll just remove some of this gravel here, put it there, and then that road's probably gonna come out too. I wanna try to make it a decent piece of property. It's hard to do when you've got a neighbor that's crossing your property all the time. It's a little strange, let's say. I got it for a good deal, that's why I bought it. And so now I'm thinking, hey, you might, it's a nice, that's not a house, that's a double wide. Okay, that's a double wide.
And he's aware of this, correct? He knows your intention of relocating, or does he not?
I don't know what the letter has said, the letter that goes out to them.
Okay, because I know that Renette did some research regarding the easement. We did find the easement for the
You did.
for the Red Sign Road. We did not. I don't think we did locate the easement for the driveway that locates your neighbor's property. Not sure, and that could be if that's there and allows him access, and that easement is actually in place, without his allowing that easement to be vacated and relocated, that could potentially create some difficulties. So I think that we should consider that in the motion.
How long has the driveway been there? To his house?
To his house. Well, as far as I can understand, that double wide was the first thing on the property, and then they built the house behind it. So, and then they divided it. And they probably divided it probably in about 90. So, 20 years.
It's long enough for it to be an easement by prescription, so.
Okay, but my point is as long as he has access to his property, I mean, I don't think there's a specific that says his easement is, exactly there.
If it was never surveyed as an easement. No,
Okay.
but the fact that it's been used.
Used, so that
As an
declares
easement,
that.
yeah.
So what you're telling me, you would prefer for me to get his permission?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'd say.
that's what you're saying. Okay, that's,
I haven't,
I understand that, but how I'm looking at it is, if you've got a road easement like that, who's responsible to maintain? Who's responsible to plow? Who's responsible for that stuff?
Well, if you're both using it, I guess it would be.
You're, yeah, okay, so if I go up to him and say, I want half of this for this, what's he gonna tell me?
Well, and then it turns into a civil matter. That's when it turns.
This
into-
road, these red roads have already done that, you
Yeah,
guys
and-
know
yeah,
this.
we do.
You guys know all about this, I'm not getting into it, because we've got 5 people up there, and I don't think any of us are talking, which is really pathetic. Which is really pathetic. So anyway, Other than that, it's a great little place.
You don't have to talk to your neighbors, so that's okay.
Exactly. I'm the only carpenter up there, okay? I don't mind not knowing them. I don't get the calls like I used to. I got a doctor and 2 ex-police officers, so. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm just trying to take a piece of property that was already there, the buildings were already on it, and just trying to make it, I got an affordable house for somebody to buy next to me. And that's what I'm trying to do, just,
But you haven't talked to this guy in.
oh, I talked to him.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
about-
Oh,
about
I'm sure he,
that road.
I'm not worried about it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, if that's gonna hold things up, then I'll talk to him tomorrow. You know, it's no big deal.
Well,
I don't think so. He's one of the guys that, he's my direct neighbor. They're all, 3 of them are in that house dying, you know, they're old people. So,
Well, it'd be a good thing, if that's really true, it'd be a good thing to take care of while we're still around, so the next people in there don't make it an issue.
well, that's what I'm trying to do, you know? Trying to give everybody that lives there their own access. Then, you know, there's no problem. And then they're driving right past the little house as they leave, if you see. I mean, I'm talking right there. Because we lived in that little place while I was working on the other one. Oh, from,
From the property line
The
there
proposed.
oh,
property
to
line.
the road?
to the house.
Okay, from that driveway to the house is probably 30 feet.
From the new proposed property line to the house?
From here,
Yeah, from,
from here to here.
yeah. I would say from that road to there, yeah, it's maybe 30, 40 feet.
When you need, if you're gonna put that property line there, you're gonna need 50 feet, right?
Okay, well, that's why I said I haven't had it surveyed. So this property may have 3 acres. And this property may have 3.75. Okay, it's all dirt anyway, it doesn't make, there's no water up there, you can't do nothing with it.
And that's something that we we can add into the contingencies as well, the access and setback requirements.
Yeah,
But with him being the property owner on both properties, I mean, essentially, he,
But you're gonna set this one property up possibly to sell out of compliance before it's even.
well, and if it ends up being that way, with him being the property owner of all of it, he could get a variance concurrent with, the subdivision, which would be added to the plat notes on the plat that says, that the variance was approved, if in fact that happens. Again, this is a very preliminary sketch of what's
yeah,
happening.
right.
So, all that being said, it might be easier to make the property line.
Yeah, that's what, I have to wait until I'm surveyed to know exactly, he can lay it out
And
for me.
Ernie or whoever you use for a
Okay.
surveyor should know,
Absolutely.
should know that.
You never mentioned a name,
They should.
I know that, Ernie.
Way to go.
And Huddleston.
He
there's
did
two
say
businesses
whoever.
there.
Hey, I'm just pulling names out, so,
They're all listed.
I got you.
We have no bias.
I know you don't.
Okay, so anything further before we open it up for public comment?
Good luck.
I don't think those rural water lines were in the ground in 1990.
Really?
Yeah, I think some put them in 1991 maybe.
91? Heck,
You would stop at the property line though, correct?
Well,
Well,
when they
I mean,
split it,
everything
did they
being
sell
right
it? Was
here.
it two different owners in 1990?
back here. What happened was this was an uncle and a nephew. They got a feud. They split. I guess they split this property this way. The uncle
So
lived
they
here.
probably ran the water the easiest way then. if
Well,
they were
no, this
related.
was, remember, this building wasn't here yet. This building wasn't even here. These 2 guys lived together, they split it this way. One guy moved into here. This guy passed away shortly after this guy built this for his garage. I mean, it's a beautiful building. It's beautiful. And he built it for his garage and let this go to terrible list. And he died. So they sold this piece and then I bought this whole piece. And that's where we're at. And I bought it 5 years ago.
Your deed says a Mancus rural water tap. That's just what we were looking at.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
Mancus doesn't have
Mancus.
rural water up there. No, it's Montezuma.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Mancus.
Is it Montezuma now? Or is it still Mancus? It's probably Mancus Rural.
No, it's
If it was Montezuma, it was a Summit.
It's Montezuma. Yeah, it's definitely Montezuma, because Steve's over there, I met with
You know, I
him.
think in that area, that Summit took over a few of the Mancus water taps because they had no pressure and that freed up someone.
There you go. Well, I know the people.
So it was in the ground. It was Mancus Rural, taken over later by Summit, and then merged with Montezuma.
That was it. You got it. My neighbor's to the north, he has 100 acres, and he had to bring Montezuma water in way, I don't know what it cost him. But they couldn't have the pressure to bring it up to him from there.
Okay, any further discussion before I open it up for public comment? Seeing none at this time, I'll go ahead and open this up for public comment. Seeing none. Going once, twice, 3 times, I will close public comment and bring it back to the commission for final discussion.
Should I take off now?
No,
No?
not yet.
Now
Sit tight.
Thank you. Just tell me, ladies, you know I listen well. Okay. No, I thought maybe you didn't want me here while you were voting for
No.
some odd reason.
It's not secret.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that there should be a couple contingencies if this is approved.
For the easement.
Okay. Well, any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I will.
So I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the proposed pre-sketch plan for a proposed 2-lot moderate development, creating 2 3.5 acre more or less transit property owned by Kenneth and Patricia Voida. The contingencies I want to put on this is that we make sure that utility easements for water and electric, that neighbor access easements are taken care of, the neighbors are contacted and that you get that cleared up. That the boundary line be specific so we know if your setback variances are in compliance. And I don't know if a water tap is required to be in place for it, but we need to make sure that water tap's in place for that lot. So those conditions I would put on the approval.
We could get a water availability letter.
Yeah, from Steve.
You should have that.
We do
We do have that.
The water's available, but we need to get the tap
Yeah, I
in
think
place.
I mean, I need to have the tap installed,
No, or probably a
No.
letter. Just-
or just a purchase of the tap showing I have bought a tap. I don't even know if I have to do that
You
yet.
just need a letter showing that it's available.
Okay.
Yeah, these utility easements and the access
Mhm.
easements
Mhm.
really need to
It's
get nailed
important.
I got
down,
you.
or you're, somewhere down the road, there's gonna be problems.
Then that's what Orly told me too with the electric. So that's why I'm still meeting with him. By the time I come in with the survey and everything, I'll have that all on there. I'll decide how I'm coming in with the electric. I'll have that decided and have it on there. Wow.
Okay, so we have a motion with the easement for water, electric, and ensuring that the neighbor is contacted in regards to possibly relocating his easement, as well as the boundary line, the setbacks are in compliance with county standards, or we go through a variance process as well as water.
Weed and fire.
Were those waived, or do we need to waive them? they were requested to
They're
be
requested.
waived.
Yeah, they were requested to
I
be
didn't get all
waived.
the way down my findings. No,
Yes.
that's okay.
So,
Fire and weed.
if
There were
if there
emails.
are recommendations made by the county weed program or a Firewise, as far as mitigation for weeds or fire, if we could possibly add that, that would be.
Grasshoppers got everything.
So we'd add to the motion then, a report from the weed team to see what's going on out there.
As well as Firewise,
And Firewise,
correct.
really?
And any mitigation.
Yeah, it's-
Sounds like money to me.
Okay, I'll send you with the list.
I'm sure they will.
Empire Electric said they would set a second meter
Yeah, he did.
on that property for
Yeah, he
the other
did.
house.
Yeah, he did.
I know $12,000 is a lot of money to spend, but
Well,
you know how neighbors can end up.
well,
being-
I can put an easement in there, so, you know, I'd have to have, that's what Orly said. He said, if you do that, you're gonna have to have a 20-foot easement on their property, if I do it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm thinking about this because that is a double wide. Somebody else could buy this and build another house on that 3 acres.
100 amp service is not a very good service to have, but I'll let you guys figure that out.
Yeah. Well, it's worked us out all right. If you build your house right now, you can. I got 100 amps and I got
I
an
understand
electric
it, I
stove.
just don't like it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
it's both the electric and water were different and the easement access deal, and that's why it was my idea to bring this forward to you guys early on,
Yeah.
just so, because I didn't even know, I wasn't sure that it was going to be possible with all of these. Before he got the survey and paid a surveyor to come out, we wanted to bring it to you guys first,
Yeah,
so.
thank you.
um,
Thanks, by the way.
This
I
is
appreciate
the
It's not
email
really that big a
from
list. We need
Clint
to
at
get it in
Empire.
there.
No,
You guys
I don't
want
think
to
it is.
read how he worded
I didn't
it?
think I was gonna walk in and out of here without nothing, come on. Like house inspectors, you gotta write something. No, you've been great.
Empire said there's no issues with serving the properties, so.
Yeah, if they say so, it's okay.
Yeah, and we should have one from Montezuma Water too.
Right here is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Sure. A second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Polk recommending to the county commissioners to approve, conditions, contingencies and conditions, easements, water easement, boundary line setbacks, firewise and weed mitigation,
Neighbor access.
and neighbor access on the easement for the gateways. Is that all of them?
That's it.
Okay, and I have a second by Commissioner Rosso.
How would you, how do I go about getting my neighbor to okay this? Does he need to write a letter? Does he, you know, once I propose this to my neighbor, how are you guys gonna know he's okay with it?
Well, if you guys have an easement in place.
You know, if he would abandon the historic easement and
Uh-huh.
agree to the new easement and state that, that's.
Okay, that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I can write
In
Probably
something.
need both, that he would abandon the historic one and agree
And-
to the new one.
Okay,
In writing, we
okay.
need that.
Yeah, I can write up a letter and you could sign it.
Okay,
However
right,
you work
is
it.
that, all right.
Would that work?
Or you can just call me,
Or just
or
call you?
come in,
Okay.
I mean, we just need to know that everything's.
Well,
gonna be
I
directed.
guess I should
You
too.
know, it's not only our responsibility to look out for you, but your neighbors as well, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion on the matter? Okay, we'll call the question.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Aye.
Commissioner Rosso,
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd, Commissioner Pope.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed and the vote was unanimous. Okay, now you're free to go.
Now I'm free to go. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate it. Ladies, what
Thank
do you
you.
want me to do with the sign?
You
You
can
guys will
just leave
take
it
it?
right there and we'll
Yeah,
get
you'll
it,
forget it.
probably. Well, I'll get it tomorrow.
All right, I'll keep in touch.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Commissioner Belt? Commissioner Rosso? Commissioner Boyd? Commissioner Pope? Commissioner Pierce?
This is a public hearing for review and determination of an AR 10-34 rezoning request and sketch plan for proposed single lot development creating 132-acre more or less tract of land on property owned by Edward S. Jankowski Family Trust, 12383 Road 42, Memphis, Colorado, located east of Road 41.15 and north of Road 42, situated in Section 10, Township 36 North, Range 13 West, New Mexico, Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was the sign posted?
Was the sign posted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Board member? Okay. Applicants want to come up? Okay. Oh, she's throwing you under the bus, I'll notice.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm used to it. No.
All right. Planning department findings on this issue.
Okay, so they're proposing to create a single lot development, on this property, which consists of 68 acres, more or less. There will be one tract that's less than 35 acres, one that's a little bit more than 35 acres. The residence will be on one house, the remaining acres will be a vacant lot. There will be there's existing access here off of 42. Not worried about access, talk to the road department, they have no concerns with permitting access in the future, being that the county road borders the other proposed lot on two sides. That offers a lot of flexibility as far as new access goes. Zoning in the area is mostly large-scale agricultural, residential. There is the existing home was constructed prior to permitting requirements. It was constructed in 1940. So there is no septic permit on the property, but there's no signs of failure, and there's no concerns from the county health department in that regard. Water's provided by Memphis Rural Water. They have indicated that there is water available for the proposed additional tract of land. There is no existing driveway permit because, again, this existing residence was created long before we had driveway permits. But they will be required to pull a driveway permit for the southern property for that. Empire Electric has, of course, told us that they're willing to provide service for that. There's propane on this property. We did notify agencies of the proposed development. We did not get any responses from any agencies for or against the proposed development. They're requesting an affidavit to do an affidavit for fire and weed mitigation. Again, we'll have to wait until we hear back. Actually, I think we did hear back from Bonnie on this one. If they can do affidavits instead of having to do any mitigation, that would be great. We did get notification from the Mancus Project Irrigation Water. They said with the allotment of the 30 acre feet for 30 acres of irrigable land, with the split, there's no issues for the district as long as the Jankowskis remain the owner. But once they sell that additional tract, they will have to go back in and reallocate water shares accordingly. So that is one thing that needs to be dealt with. Mancus doesn't have any concerns. We haven't heard anything from the town of Mancus in regards to their 3-mile influence zone. Haven't heard anything from them that they're concerned with anything. Other than that we have.
Has the perimeter been surveyed?
Yeah, yes, but we haven't had it's supposed to be done this week, and Ernie was gonna call you, Leanne, and give you that. I think you'll have it done on Monday. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's been done.
So the total acreage
Yeah,
is there? Okay.
yeah.
Anything that we missed?
I don't think so. I think,
Anything you wanna add?
I think, we propose, access on the southwest portion of the property, and, we have, proposed electrical and water and road easement, so, we intend to only have one, supposed to be one residence, only one house is gonna be constructed,
Okay,
so.
and that's gonna be within your covenants?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because
yeah.
for us, I mean, if it's not in your covenants specifically, then whoever purchases the property, that southern property or even the northern property has the potential for two.
Okay,
So
Okay.
that has to be laid out in your covenant.
okay.
Have you got easement through St. Ange down there in the southwest corner there?
Yeah, we do.
Are you subdividing for the purpose of selling it?
No, this is actually, my family trust, and, the purpose was if, in time, my mother lives on the north end of the residence, so she may want to sell it at some time, but it's a beautiful piece of property, and we want to keep that one piece in our family, so it's really, we're gonna keep it, yeah.
The reason I ask is because of the irrigation, the statement they made that if it was sold, they'd have to reallocate. I just wondered how that would trigger. Do you know how that triggers?
When it's sold.
At the sale, somebody tells them that it's split, or I mean, is it something that just happens in
Well,
the course of
normally,
the sale?
you know, when it's sold, that's part of the disclosure.
Gotcha, okay. Gotcha.
Okay,
So to the south, I guess this would be the southwest
yeah,
corner.
yeah.
Is this a access? that
Yeah,
Comes through?
it's, correct, right through there.
Is that a deeded access? It's.
I believe it is. Karen, is that correct? Okay.
Easement.
Okay. And that comes off the county road.
42, right.
And this here looks to be possibly drainage?
Yeah, it's a drainage for the, it's a deep drainage. If you're concerned about flooding, we walked it, and both the west side and the east side has quite a bit of elevation on both sides. So whatever plot we decided or footprint for the home, it's above, I believe it's above water line, for sure. So I don't think there's any kind of concerns related to flooding, but if that's what you're concerned.
No, I just curious, actually. Okay. Anything further before opening up for public comment? Mr. Gordon, anything before opening up? Okay, at this time I'll go ahead and open this up for public comment. Yes, sir? Step right, give your name and address.
Yeah, my name is Richard St. Ange. The address is 12815 Road 42, Mancus, or Montezuma County. My wife and I are here in response to the public notice because we do have some questions that we'd like answered and some concerns we'd like addressed. We are the immediate abutters on both the north and the west side of this proposed property. And as has been noted, there is an easement in place for the purpose of access to the northern property and the northern house on that property. That was an easement in place when we bought the land we currently own. And at the time, just historically, for the sake of understanding, at that time, both the property I now currently own, as well as the properties in question, were owned by one owner. So he put his easement to access the home he built. At least that's my understanding. That easement, in my understanding, and when I bought the property the understanding was to serve the single property home in existence at that time. So my question is, how is that adjudicated, whether that serves one home or more? And my concern is that it would be accessed by a second homeowner, and that is the concern I have. So in answer to your question, Mike, there has been no discussion, and there has been no arrangement. And I'm just here to open that up as a concern that we have, and one that we feel strongly about, in fact. And I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Is that road gravelled the whole way? Is it a developed road or is it a dirt road?
It's a gravel road. It has a cattle guard right at the property line and the gate, and then it's a gravel road across my property, diagonally entering their property. Should I use the pointer?
So, Leanne, maybe you could shed some light on that. How would that change?
So this is a cattle guard here, and this is on our property, and then it goes to here. There's a gate here, and there's a gate here, and there's a fence which comes down to here, but nothing in there. So it's inapparent the way it's fenced, where the property line is, which would be another concern of mine. If this were to be subdivided, I would like to see a fence on the property line as it's surveyed at this time.
Do you currently use that access?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, we have cattle, so, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so we bring our trucks in there and load cattle. There's a little corral to the, just a little bit to the north, south in that area. And,
That's on the Senate's land, and it's not functional.
right.
No, there's an existing one on the property.
On the property, yeah.
And I'm not really
I know what you're talking about.
And when it comes to easements, how they are written is basically, what determines how you can access. I mean, they can be written for agricultural use only. They can be written for, residential access as well as utility, accesses. They can be, so without, having that verbiage of
We
what-
have it here.
You have it here. Okay.
Yes.
So with being able to see that, I mean, that's something that would be able to help us determine things. I don't know if, maybe there would be, a possibility, since you use it for, running cows.
Well, I think what Scott's mom, can I speak or do I get
Yeah.
over there? I
Come
think
on
Scott,
up. Why don't you come on up?
I think what Scott's mom had originally intended is that she would, the main house would no longer use that easement, and then that would be available for the new lot. So it would still have one residence, not two. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Would that require rewriting and abandonment, or rewriting in any way the easement?
Well, if that was based off the original property and home as one, I think that it would need to be rewritten. I don't know, I mean, if you were only using that easement to access the northern property, I think it would stay as it is, but if you're adding to it, I think that would need to be changed, or possibly have to look at putting in a new road unless there was an easement granted for that.
The easement doesn't address in any specific way. It just describes an easement. And there's a separate easement for utilities, as there is separate from, as I read it, from the egress and access. And, both I think would have to be acknowledged and, you know, dealt with.
Well, and, you know, these situations, just like you heard earlier, the
Mhm.
conversation
I already
about
heard it,
red
yeah.
roads and,
Yeah.
and whatnot, you know, you kind of, there's a lot of gray areas that need to be dealt with, and unfortunately, when we don't own or maintain something, we don't have the authority to regulate it. So, you know, if this has been used historically for a certain amount of time, they could potentially argue.
Oh, it's a deeded access.
Yeah,
It's
I
not an
know.
issue of historic.
Right.
The historical use is, if you would, has been to a single dwelling on a unified property.
Right. but-
There is no historic use
Right,
to
but
a
like you
non-existing
said, with it
subdivision.
being a very vague deeded access, it doesn't say, you know, to a single residence.
I understand.
So, I think this boils down to, unfortunately, I would say, I mean, if it comes down to, you know, where it's a tug and pull situation, it's a civil situation where, you know.
It says non-exclusive easement, I think.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty open-ended. So, I mean, the best way to resolve these situations is, you know, to talk to neighbors and come up with some sort of, you know, amiable agreement to resolve that. This property down here, I mean, the really great thing about this property is, you know,
Is-
it's bordered
There's plenty of access there.
bordered on two sides by county roads, you know, so
Well, that's part of my issue, is that it clearly has
right.
open opportunity for, you know, for standard driveway. And there has been no discussion until I saw the public notice. I wasn't aware of any of this.
Can I see the pointer for a minute? I want to ask a question, but I don't quite see. Banner.
Yeah.
So is that used to access this up in here?
Yes.
Is that an access that's used?
Both
So,
are used.
so both of them are used. You can use this access for this other piece and this up here. I mean, it's, you kind of use both of them, right? Right. Okay, just making sure.
Do you guys cost share at all, or is there maintenance?
There's really not much
No.
maintenance.
Okay.
You mow it and.
As far as, you mentioned some fencing in here too. I don't think it's within our jurisdiction to talk about people putting fencing in.
No,
It's kind of something you guys need to work out within your own.
Well, the
So-
state, I mean, even the state law says.
You can't require it. It's a fence out issue, so it's something you guys would need to work out. We can't address fencing.
All right, anybody else? Public comment? Going once, twice, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back for final discussion. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a couple issues that need to be worked out. There's two things there, obviously, that are out of our realm, so, I mean, that would just require you guys to get together on that, and whether you used it for one or the other, or however you wanted to work that out.
Okay.
As far as, as far as my understanding with the easements, I already commented on the fencing, but the easements too is something that we really can't give you some advice on and do it. You kind of just need to work it out. I mean, it's not, it's probably something you guys should sit down and work out. I don't know any other way to do it, but unless somebody here has some other opinion, I don't really know how we can address that and make a determination.
We definitely wanna make sure that whatever
That it's, that it's brought to a conclusion, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Correct.
platted on the.
That when the subdivision is
So-
done, there has been a conclusion met, a meeting of the minds of some sort.
Right, so when you subdivide a piece of property, the easement goes away, the existing easement goes away, is that how that works?
I
No.
don't think so, no.
No.
That easement exists, it would
Unless
not
you
go
abandon
away.
Okay.
You can't just abandon it.
Again, I digress and say, depending on the verbiage within the easement,
Yeah,
the language within it, you know, it can be restrictive, or it can be open-ended, and anywhere in between those two. So, you know, we look at those things, with this one being written the way that it is,
There's not a condition in there.
right,
It doesn't say upon sale of this property, this is the condition that has to be met. There's no conditions within that easement. It's like wide open, so it makes it, you know, you guys need to come to some kind of
Yeah.
understanding with it so that,
you don't end up in.
right, so that there's not some, yeah, you guys do.
The only way that easement can be extinguished is by agreement of the property
Exactly.
parties, or by foreclosure, if the property goes into foreclosure,
Or by court.
and it doesn't survive the foreclosure, it's erased.
Or by court order, because some
Yeah.
kind of legal action has been taken. So, you know, it can't just be abandoned, it does exist. So, it would be in everybody's best interest to come to an agreement before this
right.
gets finalized.
Okay.
So what's the next step?
What do we do now?
Well, anything further?
I don't have anything further.
There's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to accept the proposed AR 10-34 rezoning request and sketch plan for the proposed single lot development based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The supposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and that public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support the use is consistent with the proposed zoning. And then the conditions, I think, would be to deal with that easement, to get a good understanding and the writing, something written on that. And the fire and the weed mitigation on that.
You haven't heard back from fire?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We will. She's very good at getting back to us, and very good.
Okay, I have a first.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Boyd to approve with the following conditions. The easements are revised and the fire and weed mitigations are in place. And I have a second by Commissioner Pope. Any further discussion?
Yes. The easement. You guys haven't talked,
No, we didn't.
would you guys
we
be
haven't
opposed
heard
to
anything.
talking with them about it and trying to work something
Yeah, we
out?
need
If
to
it
work
was my
something.
property
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
didn't want the easement there, I would probably talk to you guys and see if I
Yeah.
could help you and move it onto your
Yeah.
property. And then,
The only
if you-
problem with that is I don't know where the irrigation, there's an irrigation ditch that's right.
it can be
Down in-
culvert or whatever.
Isn't it right over in here?
And
Sometimes it's on the
running
road
that
there.
whole-
Yeah.
It runs all the way through there.
Yeah,
So, and I have to kind of go over there and
It is.
walk it to really,
but just, you guys ought to at least,
yeah,
Get
and I
together
didn't,
and
I didn't
talk.
even, it didn't occur to me that it was a problem, cause it
Right,
was,
it may not
it was
be.
an
Right.
easement, and I thought, oh, this is an
Mhm.
easement, so
Sure.
I
but if
didn't-
anybody ever bought that property and wanted to develop it further, it'd become an issue. And if it was
Right.
all on your property, it wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to split that 4 times and have, 6, 8, 12, 15 more trips a day going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Lot of
absolutely,
traffic.
yeah.
And honestly, if this was divided, if either one of these were divided one more time, even if you divided this one in half, this would essentially turn into a red road, or could turn into a red signed road.
Right. Being a
So-
property owner of that road, would, I would have a concern with that as
Yeah.
well.
A non-county owned, non-county maintained road that we specifically red sign road, we assign it a red sign road so that, for
Different
emergency
designation,
services, so that,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the water, the ditches and stuff can be addressed within any agreement that you make too, so, yeah, could I get away?
And I understand that possibly going into this application that may not have been something that even came up,
No.
having the easement in place, but.
This is the whole reason why we do this. This is the whole reason why we let people know, is to bring these issues to light.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question.
Commissioner Bells?
Aye.
Commissioner Mato?
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd? Commissioner Poe?
Aye.
And some of these issues could also be taken care of in the subdivision covenants also, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. Now, the county does not enforce covenants by any means, but we do honor them. So if we're looking at, so if in the future, 20 years from now, someone wants to further divide one of those tracts, if they're approved,
Right.
if you say there's only one house allowed, or, we honor that. Or
Okay.
even if someone wants to build a second
Well,
house,
But if we
honor
put it in the covenants, but you don't honor it, that doesn't make them feel any better.
Well, no,
You know,
they get recorded at the courthouse,
Okay.
and it does provide a basis for you.
Okay.
It's not just incidental.
Okay.
It carries weight.
Yeah.
we honor covenants, through the county, and that also, gives you the ability to, or your neighbors, the ability to come back and say, hey, it says in your covenants,
Right.
you're supposed to have a stick-built house.
Okay.
You just pulled in a aluminum mobile home.
Provides you a lot of
Yeah.
power in a
Okay.
civil
In
sense.
Okay.
So, yeah, it really does.
Okay. Well, maybe that could help.
Okay. Well, the motion passed and the vote was unanimous, so.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck, folks.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for coming.
You guys need to talk to each other.
Yeah, we are.
We need to get your phone number.
Yeah, I think we do workshop.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, any additional? I mean, we're already.
It's a new world record? Not really. I think we've had a quick one. Are we not done yet?
Obviously, she's got more.
Hopefully not that 3 mile influence plan. What is it?
Well, let me tell you,
Oh, you want me to get it?
you're no longer getting paid for attending meetings.
Did we get paid? Did I ever get paid for attending?
Yes, but Bob said last time he only wanted to get paid twice a year because of the facility to get paid.
That's Bob, man.
We don't get paid for attending meetings. We get a little mileage.
You guys good? Coffee or water or
I'm doing pretty good, Stan.
coffee or water? That's all I got. I don't have anything stronger.
What's really,
And how long have you had this shop?
so what's really interesting about that is, I think that the state statute basically accommodates the Front Range in their urban sprawl. I mean,